This is World Awakenings, the fast track to enlightenment with your host, Karl Gruber. World Awakenings is a podcast dedicated to opening your mind, your heart, and your eyes to the fact that the world's population is now, more than ever, awakening to all things spiritual, metaphysical, and enlightening, and just how they play an all-important role in our daily life. So join Karl on this enlightening experience as he interviews metaphysical and spiritual experts to discuss, debate, and delve deeply into the hows and whys of this worldwide awakening.
The law of attraction states that everything is energy and that like attracts like. True spirituality states that the only true reality is that of oneness, unity, and unconditional love and forgiveness. Together, these two are attached at the hip and perform a beautiful symbiotic dance together. Hi, I'm Karl Gruber, author of the brand new book, True Spirituality and the Law of Attraction, Beautiful Symbiotic Relationship. This is a book that will show you how to build a rock-solid personal foundation based on unchanging, eternal, universal truth that shows you how to become a consistent co-creator with the universe to create the life you love to live and live to love. Get your copy today of my new book, True Spirituality and the Law of Attraction, a beautiful symbiotic relationship, and learn how to manifest the life you truly desire to be living. Now available as an ebook or paperback on Amazon. Started in June 2018, this is the podcast World Awakenings, the fast track to enlightenment. And now here we are with our 104th episode of the show that asks the all-important question in our quickly changing and evolving world. Why now, more than ever, are the people of the world awakening to all things spiritual, metaphysical, and enlightening? This show is your home for meeting and talking with one-on-one some of the world's top experts, teachers, authors, masters, enlightened beings, and purveyors of light, love, and truth. And we're so glad to have you join us once again. So before we meet our featured guests today, please take a moment to check out my new book, True Spirituality and the Law of Attraction, a beautiful symbiotic relationship. Just click the link below to get your copy today. Well, on this show, we meet with our two guests, Krogfoss and Mary Kress, who have recently teamed up to share with the world their abilities as quantum energy healers. Mary Kress is an energy healer, clairvoyant, somatic trauma counselor, medical intuitive, death doula, and practitioner of quantum healing hypnosis technique, and also, as I found out, a channeler too. And Krogfoss returns to the show. Rocky was a featured guest here a couple years ago, and he's back with Mary. And Rocky is a quantum energy healer who for the last 30 years has specifically helped women restore their physical and emotional health. This promises to be a special chat with some much needed insight into energy healing and how it works. So welcome Rocky and Mary to the show. Aloha, Mary from Hawaii.
Aloha, Karl.
Yeah, so I'm a quantum emotional healer, not a quantum energy healer. I tell people that I am not an energy healer, that I work with quantum fields. Therefore, I am not the traditional energy healer.
Okay, excellent. Well, this is interesting. Considering that Rocky is in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, Mary Kress is in Hawaii. How the heck did you two meet up to join forces here? Do you have a particular program that you guys are working on together?
Great question.
Yeah, I'll let Mary fill in the blanks.
Rocky and I actually connected on LinkedIn, which has been an interesting, not a place where I would have thought to meet a spiritual healer or a friend. And he has turned out to be both, and a great partner in upcoming workshops and also events, hopefully in the future, once we get back to normal times, to do some live events. We're very much looking forward to that. But together we connected on LinkedIn and realized that we both shared individual yet special gifts that the world needed, and together combined our energies magnify. So we are excited to be here today. Karl, thank you.
Well, that's so awesome. So maybe this is premature in asking this. I mean, do you guys have intentions of doing online programs or live events together, or is that too soon to even talk about?
No, actually, we have a workshop that we're putting out very shortly. And it's kind of the prelude to either working with us together. So we do, our workshop is kind of our intro to our work. It's about 2 or 3 hours. And then we go on to either working with us together, which means 4 sessions with Rocky and 4 sessions with me, but 1 together, so we can kind of assimilate and get to know what's happening in your life and how we can help you best. You know, we also are planning, hopefully, for 2024, some live events. So who knows? I'm going to get Rocky out of British Columbia and into the warm sunshine of Hawaii.
Yeah, I can finally dry off a bit.
I don't know. I know Rocky for the last couple of years. He might melt if he gets in that Hawaiian sun.
Well, I may have to go to Canada. Who knows? You know, our work is international. It's global. It's not one particular place. I'm particular to Hawaii because it's beautiful and it's sunny. And who doesn't want to come to Hawaii? It's a bonus. However, we'll be doing it all over the United States and possibly even Canada. I mean, we have clients in Australia, we have clients in Ireland, we have clients all over the world.
Well, and you know, you're talking about the world opening up to live events. Many light workers and teachers and healers are getting back out there. For instance, I've gotten to know pretty well Dr. Joe Vitale from the movie The Secret. I've been on his show. He's been a guest on World Awakenings here. And he, for the first time in 3 years, just went to Ireland and just knocked the audiences dead. So, I mean, people are receptive. They're all coming out again. So you guys may be able to get out there much sooner than you think.
We may. We have a pretty big following right now, so we're trying to do it and do it right. So this year, I think we're going to do virtual, but who knows? At the end of the year, something may turn up.
Yeah. Well, let's find out a little more individually. Going back to Rocky, I think this is an important question. I'm not sure if a lot of viewers and listeners actually understand what exactly quantum energy healing is. What is it?
Well, quantum emotional healing is.
Oh, yeah. Emotionally.
Yes. Everybody calls me a quantum energy healer, and I say, no, I'm a quantum emotional healer. But what I do that's different, that I've told you about before, is Seth said to me, Seth is my spirit guide, do not train in energy healing because it would take away from your gift. So I had to start learning about what my gift is, because at the time when he told me, I had no idea what I do. I didn't even know I was a healer. My gift works within the quantum realm, which is a mindset step above energy healing. And so I work with quantum fields, which basically is your body. And I help you connect to the feelings that are tied to belief systems and belief systems in your body that create pain and trauma. And so I help you connect to those feelings, and in my world and in the healing world, in order to heal it, you must feel it. In our world today, we are bombarded by big pharma pills, which take you away from feeling the feelings that will help you heal. So we invite people to be natural, be authentic. Mary's especially good at this, and connect to the feelings that will allow you to release that programming from your DNA, from your subconscious mind forever, and then replace it. Programs of I love myself infinitely. So it's that simple, but it's that difficult, because if it was that easy, everybody would just do it. But we are in a timeline, like you said, where the heavens have bombarded Earth with so much energy from the central sun that we are literally being squeezed. Our 3D world is being squeezed out of our body, and there's Rocky and Mary ready to say, okay, I know you're going through a lot of stuff now. Welcome aboard.
Mm-hmm. Well, you specifically work almost exclusively with women. You're a guy. How is that?
Well, it's really simple, and you know, in the long run, it's really simple. I mean, my spirit guide 𝐿𝐸𝐸, I have 3 spirit guides: Seth, 𝐿𝐸𝐸𝐸, and 𝐷𝐿𝐸𝐸. And 𝐿𝐸𝐸𝐸 is a power goddess, and she said to me in 2001 in channel, she said, Rocky, your soul purpose is to empower the feminine. And I said, interesting, big guy like me. And ultimately, in the end, that work was so smooth and so easy for me. It was a no-brainer, really. Mm-hmm. Yes, I still face women who go like, "You're a guy. What are you doing working with women?" I still face it, and so I'm used to that. So I go where I'm received.
Yeah.
As you know, Karl, I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of people with different variations of pain and trauma, PTSD, family issues, relationship issues, that sort of anxiety, that sort of thing. So that's a little bit about me, but let's talk about Mary, because she's got a long laundry list of talents that are incredible.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I was just about to do that, because Mary, your resume of non-physical gifts is pretty amazing. What I've seen, you're a clairvoyant, you're a channel, intuitive energy healer, trauma counselor, end-of-life counselor. You're even doing 𝐏𝐻HT, and that's the Dolores Cannon certification. And how the heck does a girl from New York end up living in Maui?
Well, you know, Karl, if I can just touch on a second with what Rocky said, because as a woman, I truly believe that having a man to help us heal, a man that we can trust, a man that we can ground with, is so essential for us, because a lot of our wounds, unfortunately, show up in our relationships, in our intimate relationships, whether that is, you know, a non-gender or non-specific. It's still a male, female. When we look at the human form, that relationship, and having a man to fill that role is essential. I find a lot of my clients are men, and not particularly because I'm only looking for. I'm open to either. You know, I don't have any particular. I work with a lot of not gender specific and non-binary and male, female. But I love the fact that women are ready now to receive from men. So anyhow, just wanted to touch on that for a second. It's one of my passions to help people realign with the male, female, the masculine, feminine. It's been a little bit convoluted in our time, and that's a whole other subject. Anyhow, so how did I get here? Well, I started as a foreign investment strategist and working for a venture capitalist. And here I am today living in Maui doing spiritual work. I really pushed away my gifts for a long time because I thought I wanted to live a certain lifestyle. And I thought I can only achieve that by being in the world, by being in finance, by having a career. And coming from New York, I was very motivated. And I started to work with a pastor who worked with people that lost their children many, many years ago. And after the first time I sat with the family, and I was sitting there and I said, I don't have no idea what I'm doing. She said, well, do it anyway. Just sit, whatever comes to you. And all I could hear was a cereal. I remember it was oh my gosh, I can't think of the name of it. Anyhow, it was one of those fruit cereals with the marshmallows in them. And all I could see was a giraffe on a cloud. And I said, God, you can't do this to me. I can't tell these people a giraffe and cereal. I must look like a crazy person. And after 5 to 10, 15 minutes of them staring at me, I said, well, all I see is this little giraffe on a cloud and Lucky Charm cereal. And this little boy that was with his parents, ripped off his backpack and pulled out a giraffe with stuffing coming out of his neck. And then he started to cry and he ran over to me and he hugged me. He said, my sister, my sister. His sister had just passed away from leukemia, and he didn't want to eat, and he carried around her Lucky Charms box for 4 days since she's passed, and this stuffed animal was hers. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is why I have this gift. And that's how it all started. And I think I was 17 years old, and that was quite some time ago. And I kind of morphed into that. Spirit has come to me and said, you're going to do this and you're going to do this, and now I can channel, and I am an intuitive. I did search and rescue from ESU, for FBI, for private sectors. And then I started to become a medical intuitive. And maybe I've always had the gift, but it started to develop. I was actually sitting at a church in Paris, and St. Catherine of Labouré came to me and she said, you need to go heal that woman. So I went up, I could see this red spot behind her, and she guided me through the whole thing. And there I was thinking, oh my gosh, what now? And ended up working with Dr. Shaw, who was a healing towel hands practitioner, so that I could feel comfortable with my gifts. And I think that's the biggest part. When we're all gifted, we just have a hard time digging into that, feeling confident with ourselves. But that's a human experience, isn't it? Where we have to figure out who we are and why we're here. And then it's morphed into the death doula, because I saw so many people that were in so much pain and fear when they've lost their loved ones. I realized they're afraid of death. And although death is hard for those who are left behind, it isn't hard for those that go. It's actually a blessing. And it's really difficult for us to let them go. And I thought, if I can help people transition to get into that world so that they know that there's nothing to fear, but there's something to look forward to. So I started that. I don't really practice unless somebody comes to me and personally requests it. But it is, and then I decided probably about 7 years ago to become a trauma counselor. And I had just completed my second level of that, because I realized that there are so many people right now in trauma, like Rocky said, PTSD, anxiety, they're all on some sort of psychotropic drug, and it's not getting to the root cause. And unless we get to the root cause of anything, we can't heal. And we're afraid. And unless we have somebody that's supportive enough to work with us while we heal our nervous system, we can't get there. We can't make lifelong changes. We can have a couple Band-Aids here and there, but the real work has to be within ourselves. And unless you have somebody that's supportive enough to hear you, to listen to you, that has the intuitive gift to know what you need, and to channel, I channel their higher selves so that I know what they need. And so I can connect them with that, so that they know from that point on what they need, so that they are empowered to live a life that they're meant to live, and that there are no regrets when they pass on.
Yeah. And, you and Rocky both have these beautiful natural gifts and abilities. And what you were talking about earlier in your life, when you thought the way to create the life you wanted was through the world. And I have had many healers and channels and mediums on here, and star seeds, who they have the natural ability when they're a youngster, and they don't even realize they have it. They just think it's normal. But then as the world starts pounding on them, stop doing that. You need to be focused in this little narrow egotistical world, 3D world. And so they kind of stuff their natural talents back. And then eventually something happens within their life that, wait a second, let this blossom in me again. So.
Oh, it's our calling. When you just cannot deny it anymore. And that's one of the things I love to work with people on, how to cultivate their own gifts, because they're all inside of us. We just have to take out the fear, that conditioning, that box, that the proverbial box that we've been put in, like, only do this. And if you do this, you're going to go to hell. And that's not natural. You have to be afraid of. I remember the first time I channeled star beings, and I channel now Anasara, I channel Lord Sonata, I channel Jesus, I channel Saint Germain almost daily. And I was like, I said, because I was raised Catholic, God, are these okay? It was kind of naive. And he said, do you think I've only made humans? And I was like, okay, then. Okay, that was a good answer. So, yeah, whatever we can do to know our own light. If we can each embody ourselves in the form that we were meant to be, not what somebody projected or what the world says. The world we're living in is buy more, work more, have more, go do this, do that. You don't even know who you are. By the time you're 50 years old, your life is so raveled. Half the time people are getting divorced and they're lost and they're in despair. And people are so suicidal today that they don't know who they are. If they can just pull back at any point that they feel a calling and turn inward and ask for help. There are so many people on this journey with them.
You have spirit guides. Everybody has them. You have an agreement with them. They're like the outfield on a baseball team. They're always there. We don't think about them much, but they're always there, and they're always in behind the scenes, waking you up to your soul purpose. Always.
But you have to ask them for help.
Right, exactly. I was just about to say that. They can't interfere of your free will unless you ask.
Right. That's right.
That's true.
How simple is it? It's like when you think about it, as Rocky said, they're always there. It's like calling your best friend. People will pick up the phone and they'll vent. And cathartic expressions are important to the soul. But to be able to sit back and say, I need your help. I need my guide. I need God. I need the spirit. I need source. I need my angels. I need my guides to show me here what is best for me.
And by doing that, you're actually investing in a prayer. A prayer is not holy, holy this, holy, holy that. It's not a prayer. A prayer is like what I went through when I went through my emotional breakdown 30 years ago. And my prayer was, oh my God, I need help. And that was the catalyst that started me on this journey. Mary said something earlier that reminded me of a story, it's a true story. When I was developing my quantum emotional healing modality, because I was told to create it, and I was just putting pieces together, and I was working with a woman on her inner child, and she was stuck. She didn't want to talk about it. So I got a message. I said, ask her about the green dog. And I said, what? No, I'm not going to ask her about a green dog. What do you think? I'm crazy? I just kept doing what I was doing. I was getting nowhere. And I hear this voice, ask her about the green dog. And I said, gosh, I'm going to make a fool of myself, but I'll do it anyways. And I just said, I just got a feeling that there's something that you might remember about a green dog. And she goes, oh, my green dog. Boom. She was there 3 years old right away. I didn't have to do any work. So I learned to trust that what comes to me is exactly what's needed. It's not my job to analyze it. It's my job to listen and work with the universe and the spirit guides and all the angels, their higher selves, it's my job to work with them as a team to facilitate the healing that they need. And, your spirit guides have all this information. Why not use it? So I just wanted to share that as well.
I think that's fun that Rocky had a green dog. He thought people would think he was crazy. You had a lucky giraffe, but it was the timing was perfect for the situation.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well, and Mary, you mentioned earlier, you work with trauma, and I know Rocky does too. But when you think about it, really most of the people in the world have some form of trauma. And most of it is suppressed too into the subconscious, which generates into physical illnesses, emotional illnesses, or both.
Absolutely, Karl.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry, go ahead, Mary.
No, that's absolutely true. It's like if we do not heal ourselves, and we're in this society, we're taught how to do 50 different math equations, but we're not taught how to handle our emotions, how to handle conflict, how to communicate, how to be with what we feel. That is one of the most important things, because if we can unravel some of that trauma, we would not manifest a sickness. Where does it go? It goes somewhere in our body. If we can't release it, it stays within ourselves. And we think that we're actually taught just, don't make waves, be kind, make everybody else feel good, or where we flip the switch and then we're emotionally crazy and out of control. So there's not much of a middle ground. And I think that's one of the things that Rocky and I work so well together, where we can both create a platform for somebody to unravel that trauma, for them to release and to see and heal, whether it's illness, whether it's mental illness, whether it's stress, or whatever the cause is. We get to it and then release it, and they're on a life with a completely different trajectory of happiness and joy and fulfillment. Could you imagine what that's like? So, and it's so needed. It is so needed right now in this world. And it doesn't have to be a heavy process. We just have to begin.
You have to be authentic and open and honest. And I like the analogy when I tell my clients that past traumas, we live in a medical world where traumas are not to be felt. They're to be medicated or masked. I say to them, just imagine that trauma, that event. They'll remember the event, but they won't remember the energy hitting their body, sticking to their ribs, and there it stays till the day you decide to release it or get sick. So I say to people, almost everybody has an inner child that needs attention. Almost everybody has lineage, which is parental programming, which, you wake up to and 20, 30, 40 years into your life, you look in the mirror and you go, I'm becoming my father. I'm becoming my mother.
Yeah.
And so you decide, I don't want that, but I don't know what to do about it. Well, it's called lineage. You are agreed to download your parents' lineage as part of your journey on earth, as choosing your parents does. So then you have to release it. And ultimately, my spirit guide said, Rocky, let go of your family's lineage and create your own lineage for your parents, for your children. And my daughter, I did exactly that. And she's now independent and completely free of any of the nonsense that my family engages in. And she's independent, and she just does her own thing. She's a crystalline indigo anyway, so she just kind of does her own thing. So powerful healer, wise, powerful woman, one of my greatest teachers. So
that's awesome. But we're again going back to talk. Sorry, my cat Maya was just cruising by here in the cosmos. Talking about trauma. I had an interesting experience in September 2021. One of my past guests here was the Pittsburgh medium Carol Collins, and I think you know about her, Rocky. And I went to one of her energy clearing retreats in St. Augustine, Florida, for a weekend. A small group of us in an Airbnb, and it was phenomenal. She channels the Yeshua collective and Seth and other beings, and I don't think that people understand, especially in our 3D world, that trauma and unforgiveness and thoughts of guilt and sin and shame settle into our energy chakras, and they get blocked and they blossom into maladies of some form. And so if people can learn how to clear those energy chakras of those, and like you said, Rocky, you have to face those traumas in order to do that.
Well, I say good luck releasing them, because that's really, really, really hard work. I adamantly say you need somebody to hold a space for you, a safe space, so that you can focus on the feelings, not on the trauma. My job is to help you release that energy from your body. Your job is to feel the feelings so that they come forward, so they can be released. Because part of the healing process is I give my body permission to release this pain. I give my body permission to release this trauma. And that's as simple as it really is. But you've got to have a space, a safe space. Because when you're dealing with your trauma, you're anything but safe. So you need that space to balance out. And part of our job, Mary and my job, is to provide a balanced nervous system a balanced energy, a sacred space, to provide a place where you can release that energy into the earth and release it forever. But the most important thing is reprogramming. It's programming the DNA and your cellular body and your subconscious mind, which, by the way, your subconscious mind contributes 97%. Your brain controls 3% of your reality. So that's a very important fact. We're all taught to use the brain to calculate and control everything. It's not true. It's the subconscious mind rules the roost. So we help program the cellular body to a higher state of love and receiving love. We're all on this earth god awful at receiving love. We're just awful. It's not our faults. We have patriarchal programs, lineage programs, unworthiness programs, religions, politicians, news media, you name it, all bombarding us with information of unworthiness to receive love.
Fear.
Yeah. Fear.
Yeah.
You can't blame anybody for being in fear.
Yeah, but let's get out of fear.
Let's get out of fear. I agree.
Yeah, that's one of my spiritual learnings as a spiritual student. You know how predominant fear is, and that's how the ego works with us, keeps us in fear and dominates us, and then becomes stronger by fighting off our fear too.
I can
predominant in the world. There's nothing we can do right now. Everything that people are watching TV. I'm like, shut off the TV and read a book. Listen to a spiritual podcast. Listen to a YouTube video. Watch Gaia TV. Watch something that uplifts you rather than brings you down. It's so important.
Yeah, I have a study in my webinar from Stanford University on the percentage of fear and ego beliefs versus love in your body. And they did a study. I don't know how they did it, but they're all quantum and they know what they're doing. But the average person on this planet has 80% of their beliefs steeped in fear and ego. And so when 80% of your beliefs are working full-time subconsciously, the 20% that you have that is your love, it has a very difficult time overcoming it or releasing and everything. That's why you need a healer, because that's also why you create the life that you do, because 80% of your beliefs are steeped in lower frequency beliefs. So it's time to come now to the table and say, I'm ready to be the real me. I'm ready to release the trauma of my childhood, the trauma of my mother and my father, the trauma of my life, the patriarchal mindset, especially for women, men too, but women are more affected by the patriarchal mindset than men are. Men are programmed in a way that pushes them away from women. That's very sad, actually. And so now's the time to show up with a hyper talented team that can help you out.
Well, and I'm speaking of that, I would like to find out a little bit more about Mary. How did you come to 𝐭𝐻𝐻T, which is quantum healing hypnosis technique, which Dolores Cannon established? How I've had a couple 𝐭𝐻𝐻T practitioners on the show. It's very interesting.
Oh, I love her work. Well, to be honest with you, I believe that her work, and I believe she was one of the foundational practitioners who brought hypnosis into the mental illness field.
Mm-hmm.
So you're connecting with your higher self, but not on a conscious level, on a subconscious or non-conscious level. And so you don't have to break through all the programs and all the knowledge or belief systems that we work on, the 3% that really leads our life, as Rocky said. It allows you to be in a state, not like you're going to get up and twirl around the room like a ballerina, that kind of hypnosis, but actually you're at a point where you're rested, you're relaxed, you're in a state, you're connected with your higher self. your guides, your spirit guides, everybody is there with you. And then you can go back and not regress, but you can dive deep into what you need to see without the fear. So I love her work. I almost do it with all of my clients. And I believe it's one of the most important sessions that they could have. Not the beginning, because it takes time for somebody to relax around you. It isn't just come in and let's do this. Although I do it, some people just want that and they're accustomed to it and they know it. People that never meditated before, have never done hypnosis before, they may be a little bit nervous. One time it took me almost 3 hours to get somebody to just relax. And eventually she was in that state, and she is one of my favorite people to say. She's a movie producer, and she calls me constantly, tells me how different her life is just from that one session. We've done a few others since then, but it allows you to get into a place without trying. It takes you to a place that's regressive. And I really like that. Yeah.
My past two guests that were 𝐏𝐻T practitioners, Holly Duckworth, Tracy Mahan, they say they work one-on-one for anywhere from 5 to 6 to 7 hours with one individual, so that they get them to a place where they actually communicate with their client's higher self to answer the questions.
In the beginning, I think it took me 3-4 hours. Now I can have somebody in this state within about anywhere from 10 minutes to about an hour and a half, depending on where they are in their life. So now I've also perfected I've kind of tweaked a little bit of the wording, so that way I know what they need. I listen to their guides, and that's probably one of my greatest attributes, is having all these gifts. I can then use them collectively at that moment and hear, like you said, say the green dog or say the giraffe. I know what it's going to take. I know what they're hearing. I know what they're seeing, and then I can regress them back into that, because then they feel at ease. That's one of the most important things. And I think that's part of having that feminine energy too, where it's like, you're safe, and part of my trauma counseling is knowing the words to let people get into that space where they can really let the nervous system regulate. And their amygdala shrinks with so much trauma. The effects of trauma long-term, we have an event, but it's the effects of that event and how it multiplies in our body, like you were saying, the long-term illness, the maladies, the issues, the communication, the place that we're operating in our relationships. How many people are in unfulfilled relationships? People are in unfulfilling jobs, and 3/4 of their lives are based on these times that they're living, and they do not know how to release themselves from this pain. So I love 𝐿HT. It's one of my favorite modalities of healing.
Well, and too, you mentioned feminine energy. I would like to go back to Rocky here and just say that one of the coolest things that Rocky has to say is to men is that he finally learned how to listen to women. And if men could just listen to women, and I'm a typical guy, it'll go in this ear and out that ear. And then I ask 7 minutes later, what did you say?
Well, there's a difference between listening and hearing.
Yes,
absolutely. Absolutely. There's a huge difference. Part of quantum emotional healing, the most important place to start is I listen to my client. And I don't just listen just with my ear. I listen and let my whole body go into what's really going on. So that's my mindset right off the bat. What's really going on? What are the words that she's saying? Where do those words come from? Does she even know she's de-empowering herself by saying these words or these phrases?
Oh, your words have so much power. If that's the one thing we teach people right off the bat, self-talk. What you're saying to yourself, you're either empowering yourself or you're disempowering yourself. You're self-projecting into your future. It's your own prophecy. Watch your words and the way you speak to yourself. You're your biggest critic or your biggest fan. The world out there is hard. So if you're not kind to yourself, you're not loving yourself. And I think that's ultimately, like Rocky said, sorry to interrupt you, but it's ultimately that's where we're going, teaching people to love themselves. People think love is vulnerable. People think being weak and being open and being receptive is vulnerable. But receiving, as you said also, Rocky, is one of the biggest lessons we have here. And I can tell you as a medical intuitive, people that do not receive, they become ill. Because sooner or later, Source is going to teach you, or you've signed up for a lesson and learning something. And the only way you're going to receive is if you're flat on your back and you have no choice. So you either learn to receive in a kinder, gentler way, or you end up needing somebody to take care of you. And people don't always recover from that. So it's really important to do it before these things become so detrimental.
Now is the time to look up to the sky and just say, okay, God, I'm ready to be me. And me is not who I think I am. It's who I really am. I want to be who I really am. And I don't want...
Make it a fun journey, right? Yeah, make it a fun journey. Make it light. Yeah. Make it loving. Make it like, what is out there for me? What's the excitement that lands on the other side of who I am today, rather than, because our work isn't just looking at it. The beginning, it's looking at it. And then you quickly start to release that. And then the rebuild process is excitement. Think about going on a trip. It does take time. It's planning. It's taking it's research. It's spending money. All those things could be a little arduous. But once you get there, you're excited. So our work is not necessarily all heavy and difficult. It's actually really, it's wonderful to release it, to live in a life that you feel the burdens lessened from your day-to-day life, and then have joy when you wake up in the morning, and speak to yourself in a kind way, and speak to your loved ones, a better relationship with your family, with your friends, with your co-workers. Be in a position or a career that you love. Find yourself in this journey. That's what we're here to help you with.
You were talking about how the power of our words and even in self-worth. I mean, I'm sure most of us have done this. I've done this far too many thousands of times in my life. I might make a mistake doing something, and then I'll think to myself, you idiot, how can you do that? And talk about immediate disempowerment.
Yes, but that, like Rocky said, that's our belief system. Years back, I mean, today parents are much more conscious of how they speak to their children, or you hope so, but they're better than they used to be. But years back, it was commonplace to say that to your kid. You're stupid, you're this, you're that. And so we've had to work through all of these issues. That's why all the baby boomers, all the midlifers, all the people in their 30s onward are starting to realize, oh, I have all this stuff inside of me now. Thank goodness we are where we are. And we have podcasts like this. We have platforms like this to get our work out there, to say, we're here. It doesn't have to be this way. It's a knee-jerk reaction to say, I'm not good. I made a mistake. Or living in this fear of, I don't want to try something that's really good for me because I may not be good at it. It doesn't matter if you succeed or fail. What matters is trying, because that's what's going to determine how you feel about yourself. And there are things where we all try. And I mean, I've had so many different careers in my life. I never attach myself to it. I listen to my guides. I listen to my spirit, and I say, okay, what is best right now? How can I serve the world right now? How can I serve myself, and for the good of all and the harm of none, every single day? And it doesn't matter of your lifestyle. What matters is your way of life. It's the way you are in this world. We're all in this world. We're human. We're having a 2D. I don't even know if we're in 3D yet, but we're having a 2D experience where there's, this and that, like up and down. Like what's in the inside is really where we are. We think we're in 5D. We can't even assimilate 3D without understanding that we have to dive into ourselves. And that's what we're doing. We're opening us so you can look in. We can lessen the burden and the pain and the discomfort and live a life you're excited to live, because you're going to arrive at that destination no matter what. You're going to do it in fear, or you're going to do it in joy, in anticipation and excitement. But either way.
So I would say, being very honest, Karl, that the two of us together, we can get you to that safe space way quicker. Mm-hmm. Your average healer, because we have both focused and been trained And Seth trained me himself to get a person into a space that detaches from this 3D reality. The first thing I do is tell them, take your entire world that you just walked away from to do this healing stuff, take that world and push it aside. So it gives them a concept of push it all aside, and all of a sudden they're going, I'm not invested in this 3D reality anymore because I really want to feel good again. I want to feel free. I want to breathe again. I want to feel good again. I don't want to have trauma. I don't want my nervous system to be like this. I don't want to be in pain anymore. So between the two of us, I guarantee you we can get you to that space quickly. And we've just been doing it for so long. We're just good at it, and we're just used to it. So it's true.
Was that any better plug than that? Well, you call a spade. We're good at it.
Yeah. Well, we are.
And
we are.
nice. We're like, Rocky is an excellent healer, and he has helped me through things, and I'm so grateful for him. It's one of the reasons why we teamed up together.
Well, and I think what you have just was said here in the last couple minutes is some of the most encouraging and inspiring words that have ever been spoken on this show. And I know the viewers and listeners of the show are going to be really, really happy when they hear that. Mary, I want to check in one more time. I don't know if this is something you're open to doing. So you're a channel. Are you open to doing channeling Seth right now for a little bit, or Saint Germain or somebody?
Sure. I mean, I'm open to channel. It's not like the TV. I'm turning it on. It may be your spirit guides that we're channeling, Karl. You never know. It may be Seth. Saint Germain is always, he's one of my guides, and I am so very grateful for him and all he's done. And we could try. Let's give it a try.
All right. Whoever you want to bring through.
Do you have any particular questions for them? You can ask once I get there.
Oh, I knew she was going to ask that.
I have an idea. Let's bring through Seth, and Seth will.
Well, again, Rocky, whoever comes through, this isn't like, hello, come on the phone. AT&T isn't here. Whoever comes through is, that's one of the things I tell people.
Let's bring whoever through then.
Yeah. If Seth comes through, you can call him. We could all call him. We can call in Saint Germain. We can call in whoever comes through.
Okay.
But I always tell people, don't, whoever comes through comes through. This isn't like you're picking up your phone, dialing them. So you can ask any questions you like.
May I ask who we're speaking to?
Desa.
Is that one of Mary's team?
No.
What was your name again?
Desa.
Desa?
Desa.
Did we in particular attract you to come and speak with us?
She's part of Rocky's team.
Oh, Desia.
Desia.
Okay, Desia. Yeah. Hi, Desia.
Hello, Rocky.
Desia.
I'm here helping women.
Yes. Desia is very, very much invested in helping women to be empowered in this timeline. And she's very close to me, and I love her dearly. So thank you, Desia, for showing up.
I would like to ask Desia. Desia, are you, have you ever been in human form? Are you now an ascended master? Are you a galactic being?
I'm a galactic being. I have not been in human form. I am not an ascended master.
And
around Rocky and several others to help them to enlighten to the light way. I'm helping Rocky in this form.
And she's been very helpful.
when you speak to a human and perhaps for the first time, their first experience, are some people fearful of wondering what you are?
Some people are very afraid. They don't believe in themselves. They don't trust themselves. As you have both said, or all have said, people think that they're hearing things. One of the most important things as a human form is to learn to trust yourself.
Indeed.
We are always there. We are always around. Rocky in particular has 3 Seth.
Mhm.
Okay, Rocky. You've called me forth.
Hello, Father. How are you?
Oh, Seth.
Yes.
I'm here with Lord Metatron.
Oh, wonderful. Love Lord Metatron. I guess the only question I have to verify is that you performed your magic and allowed Mary and I to meet on LinkedIn of all places. And you were influential in making that happen because of the work that we can do together. Is that correct?
That is correct. Mary listens quite well, as you do.
Yes. Yes.
Karl, you have a question for him?
Well, I've spoken to Seth through a couple different channelers, and I love talking to Seth. I originally read the Jane Roberts books, all the books that Seth wrote through Jane, and I just found them fascinating. My jaw was on the floor almost all the time when I was reading the revelations in there. But
what in particular did you like about my work?
Well, I think especially, those books were written a fair amount of years ago, and it was at the beginning of my mind and heart opening to that type of thing. So when I read some of the things that were mind expanding and heart expanding and understanding a grander scale of the holographic connection of the whole universe, which you in so many different words and ways explained, it just blew my mind wide open. And I think that's what I enjoyed the most.
We are quite proud of your book and your accomplishments in getting the word out there. You too have a very loud spirit guide, one that is helping you through this time. But we are very grateful for you and understand the wisdom that you have found within our teachings is now in your book. And we are grateful.
Yes, I actually did quote you in my book, True Spirituality and the Law of Attraction, a couple times. So, yeah. Well,
Thank you.
Would you be able to tell me I have a dominant spirit guide who it is, or is that for something me to find out on my own?
It's an angel. It is not an ascended master or a human. It is an angel. 𝐏𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸𝐸 of 𝐁𝐨𝐿, Archangel 𝐁𝐨𝐿, and 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐬. In your dreams, you see a beautiful being. You are not sure who this is. It is 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐬.
Oh, 𝐓𝐡𝐢𝐬. Yes.
He is guiding her. Shakis. She is whispering this wisdom in your ear while you sleep. At 4:30 in the morning, when you wake, you understand this is because it's too much of a download. Ask her to come later in the morning, or keep a recording near your bed so you can sleep throughout the night. There's much information for you. Your work here is very beautiful. Thank you for exposing and uplifting those around you and having the courage to speak your truth, even in a society that is not always accepting. Saint Germain is here.
Wow. Welcome.
I am very pleased. I am very pleased with all of this. I like the connections that you are all making. Each of us have to show up in this world right now. Light workers are being called. If you are not sure of your gift, there are those around you, as you see in front of you, who are there to help you and assist you. Do not be afraid. Be curious. You're all of the light, and we are in much gratitude for each and every one of you and the work that you're doing. Continue.
May I share a gift that Saint Germain has given us that a lot of people don't know about, and that is the violet flame. He has several different types.
Correct, Rocky.
Yes.
That is correct. The violet flame is a wonderful way for you to ask to release something. There are several different ways. The easiest way is the ever-consuming violet flame for something that is heavy on your heart. There is also asking of the violet flame what your needs are. It is very important, as you said before, the words that you use, I am, and affirmations, and to enforce your true and light spirit. However, many people get caught up in the words. It is most important you just say, I give to the violet flame. I call to the violet flame. I offer to the violet flame. Your words are nominal. Please understand it is important the intention that you're just giving it up. And within this violet flame, it is taken to source and it is gone from you. Source does not expect us to carry the burdens that we carry. Understand that Source, God, the light, is around you at all times. The divine, Elohim, the sun, all of us out there at all times. We are needing to be called upon by you. Do not fret. We are here to help.
I have a question about the violet flame. I have heard about it many times. So, but I didn't know if I quite understood it. So if we have, say, a burden and I do a prayer or a meditation and I call forth the violet flame, is it like taking the burden off my shoulders and putting it in the flame where it just...
Instantaneous, Karl, instantaneous. I call to the ever-consuming violet flame. I offer to the ever-consuming violet flame any pain I am dealing with in my physical body. I offer into the violet flame any misaligned energies that are around me. I offer to the violet flame any confusion that I'm seeking or needing clarity on in the violet flame. Will instantaneously help you to release that burden and allow you to then sit to hear the answers. Stillness, my friends, is the most important part of praying. Stillness. Cut out the noise and listen.
I love that. One of the most beautiful things I ever read in A Course in Miracles was, I forget, I think it's in one of the daily workbooks. It says, be still a moment and come home.
Be still.
Yeah, I love
that. Is where divine source lives. It's within you. You should all know that it is all within you. The light, the Holy Spirit, source is within you. We ask of all of you to stop looking outside of yourselves. Simply release the pain and the discomfort and the energies that do not belong to you into the violet flame. Thank you, Rocky.
Thank you, Saint Germain. As always, it's wonderful to speak to you again. And thank you for bringing your message forward. Thank you.
Mahalo.
I have one question for Seth, if you don't mind.
Go.
All right. Seth has graciously informed me that he's going to be writing his first book ever since Jane Roberts died, sometime in the near future. And there's no timeline yet, but we can all look forward to an update on Seth's great wisdom in his newest book. And we look forward to that. So I'd just like you to remind people that, your books didn't end with the end of Jane Roberts. There's more great news from Seth.
He's laughing greatly, Rocky.
Yes.
You're the only one who doesn't have a timeline.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah. Yesterday.
His timeline was 8 years ago. I'm ready, Rocky. I'm ready when you are. The world needs it.
Yes.
Mary can help you with this.
Yes, she can.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I just want to thank Mary and Rocky and Seth and Saint Germain and all.
Shaki, she is your guide, Karl. She is with Shaki. Shaki. She's very faint and very soft. She works at 𝐏𝐸𝐬𝐻 and 𝐿, and she's very soft, and she is around you, guiding you on your work. She is there with you in every step of the way. She's helping you. She said that things are too cluttered, by the way. Doesn't like clutter.
I've been meaning to declutter the concept that, well, thank you.
She said she will help you to hear better. It will help your energy fields declutter areas, especially by the light.
Yeah, I believe it. I've meant to talk to Samuel before, but Shakeen is new to me. And although I feel her, I know her here. I listen better than I ever have before.
She's putting her hand on your heart so that you can feel her. Take a deep breath in.
Nice. I love it. Well, this is awesome. So my beautiful friends.
Working with you, Karl, for you to align all of your energies, for you to have the strength to continue the work that you're doing. She works with you tirelessly, but please know her by name so you can ask her for help when you're stuck. Thank you all for tuning in today.
Now, I understand that we've come to the end, Karl.
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe.
I just keep this around an hour or so. So this has been beautiful, beautiful.
Yes. Can we leave you with our emails?
Yes, I was going to ask. Mary's back, I guess. Welcome back, Mary. Aloha. Yes. What's the best way to get a hold of you, Rocky? And I know Mary has a website too. Rocky, what's the best way people can contact you?
Easiest way is through my email, which is stressfreeme99@gmail.com. And my website is www.migraine1mastery.com. Mary, you go ahead.
It's just my name, marykress.com.
Mary C. Kress.
No, just my website is Mary Kress, MaryKress.com, marykress.com. And I have a form on there that anybody can have a call with me, and I can chat with them a little bit about the work that I do or we do together. And so they can reach us anyway.
Well, this has been absolutely phenomenal, and I'm looking forward to the work that you two are going to share with the world. And I'm going to go hang out with Shakeen for a little while here. And
I can't. Her voice is very faint, but I think she's saying Shakin, like the 𝐏𝐸𝐻𝐴KIN, Shakin.
Okay.
Like shock him.
It's not like Karl doesn't go around shocking people.
Thank you, Karl. This is wonderful. Thank you for having this platform where people can get to know more, and they can not feel so alone. There's so many people out there to help them, and to know that we're all working for the betterment of this world today.
And I'm so grateful to know both of you. Rocky, thank you for this. Thank you, Mary. And mahalo and namaste. Thank you so much, everybody.
Aloha.
Blessings. Bye-bye.
This has been another episode of World Awakenings, the fast track to enlightenment with host Karl Gruber, a certified law of attraction life coach. We welcome you to tune in to each and every episode of World Awakenings as we open your mind, your heart, and your eyes to the fact that the world's population is now, more than ever, awakening to the truth of all things spiritual, metaphysical, and enlightening, and just how much they play an all-important role in our moment-to-moment daily life. Much love and light to you, my friend, and thank you for tuning into World Awakenings.